Palais.
Are we live? Are we on it?
I think we should.
Ah, perfect.
5. No way. I think we are. I think we are live.
So beautiful. Always
All right,
with our beautiful technical problems.
We're live. Okay, perfect. I think it is working.
Let's see.
Yes. It's a first. We are live officially. Woo!
Hello, bonjour.
Hello, everyone.
So here we are in Paris, actually outside, which is extraordinary, and the weather is beautiful. So we're gonna have a great walk together. I hope you're all fine, and don't hesitate to put on comments a little bonjour and say who you are, just to say hello.
Thank you guys for joining us for this new Saturday Live tour.
Yes.
This time live from the streets of Paris and the banks of the Seine. I'm Bertrand. You started to know me. Marie.
I'm Marie. Hello.
We created My Private Paris 5 years ago.
Yes.
To share our passion for Paris with you.
Exactly.
I don't think we had any idea that will be through a screen.
Yeah, that's the first time we're talking to a little phone just right here. But we know you're just watching us, so that's great for us.
And really, the more you ask questions on the live, the more interactive this whole thing is, the more fun it will be for all of us.
Yeah.
So the idea is for us to stroll along the Seine, which is what we've missed the most for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And why don't we get started?
Okay, so we are on the bridge that is in between Le Marais, where I live, and the island Saint Louis. And this is actually my favorite spot in Paris. For some of you, maybe you know me. I just love this view from this bridge. Maybe we're gonna just take a second to show that. And yes. Okay, let's go. Should we cross? So we're crossing this bridge. It's also a bridge that is used a lot for movies. I don't know if you knew that, but a lot of cars passing here, a limousine from great movies. So yeah, this is my favorite view on the Seine River. You can see at the very, okay, I'm gonna show you with my finger. So over there, you have the Louvre, so the Museum of the Louvre. And on the left side here, that's the island La Cité, where Paris started. So we're gonna go there, and we're gonna talk a lot about the building, the monuments that are important there, such as Notre-Dame, for example. And on the right side over there, you have les berges, les quais de Seine, where the people can walk and enjoy, this beautiful weather. And yeah, so, and now we're gonna go up to the island Saint Louis. So Saint Louis is a king of France that is pretty known. You probably know Saint Louis because in the United States you have a lot of cities called Saint Louis. And maybe Bertrand, you want to talk a little bit about Saint Louis? Tell us who he is.
Sure. Wow, we can switch from the front camera to the back camera. So Saint Louis is an important saint in the history of Paris and the history of France. I mentioned him quickly last week for building the Sainte-Chapelle. We're going actually to walk by the Sainte-Chapelle. Saint Louis, he was the king in the 1200s. He was Christianized, so that's why he's known as Saint Louis. But in history, we know him as Louis IX. Mm-hmm. And really, his the thing that he's changed for Paris was to bring to the city the crown of thorn of Christ, the relic of Christ, which is why the Sainte-Chapelle was built. And that has completely changed the face of Paris. It became a major Christian city with that, and all the influence on the construction of Notre-Dame as well. Okay. Talking about Notre-Dame, maybe we can.
We can go. Oh, sorry. We can go at the end of the island Saint Louis and have the good view on Notre-Dame. Yeah, that's a good idea. Île Saint Louis is also known for the ice cream, right? Bertillon, the best ice cream. Maybe we're gonna show you At one point, the people queuing for the ice cream, that's one of the first thing they wanted to do after the déconfinement. So the lockdown is over and everyone is enjoying the city now. So
yeah, because all the food shops and even restaurants, etc. Even if they can, I mean, for restaurants and cafe are not allowed to open.
Maybe you can switch back to us and we're gonna go that way. Yeah. Okay.
And but they are allowed to sell food, but just for takeaway. So for the ice cream, it's perfect because anyway you want to have it outdoors.
Yeah.
And but not only that, many restaurants who usually were not serving takeaway food are doing so. Even cafes and bars, so you can have your cafe in the morning, coffee in the morning, or
or a beer maybe.
Yeah,
no?
or your third pint, Marie, at around 4 p.m.
I'm more a wine person. Everyone knows that. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're not far from your favorite wine shop.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah, but it's kind of complicated to go into the shop. I mean, we can go, but it's just we have to wait. It's one person at a time. We have to wear a mask, so it's not that easy. But it's much better than last week where everything was closed, obviously. And so, yeah, maybe we can show a little bit of what is going on here. So at the end of Île Saint Louis, Île Saint Louis is known for, so there is 2 main islands on the Seine River. This is the tiniest one, and this one is known for, let's say, being kind of a village. So you can tell that everyone is just walking in the middle of the street. So not a lot of cars are passing, obviously. So it's very, very nice to live here. Maybe some of you know St. Louis Island, so maybe you can just put that on comments, just so we know if it's your first time here or not. Maybe, yeah, you can see the queue here. That's to get some great ice cream Bertillon. You see a lot of people are
That's
out
not a
tonight.
big line. It's usually much
Yeah.
much longer.
Maybe we can, yeah, go by this bridge.
Look, it looks like the pigeon are not scared of us anymore. They're happy to. I think we missed them and they missed us. Maybe say a little hello. I guess these pigeons have no idea they are international stars
Yeah.
and that they are on the internet. Look at this. Really,
You will scare him. Okay. So you're looking now at the left bank. So maybe you will recognize this building. Yeah, the one on the just pointing here. This is the Pantheon. This is where we are burying the most important person. Maybe, yeah, Bertrand, you can tell us more about this building here.
All right, I see what's happening. I'll be the history expert, and
Yes,
you say
and
and
then
you
going to talk about wine. Yes, of course.
and you say
Like
the fun
always.
stuff. Okay. Yes, sure. The Pantheon is actually a former church built right before the French Revolution in the late 1700s, and it was transformed into the temple for the greatest heroes of this new nation that we were becoming. And today it's a museum, so it's not a religious site per se, but in the Pantheon are buried very important French citizens. For example, there's a writer Victor Hugo, or we also have people from the Resistance, Madame Curie, great scientists. So people who have brought great glory and fame for France, and it's easily recognized by this dome, and it's located up on the hill Sainte Geneviève, which is also a name for the Latin Quarter. So it's quite easily to point it out from almost everywhere in the city. It's
nice.
a great place to visit.
Yeah, and just behind us, you can maybe listen some pianist.
Yeah, life starting again. Talking about starting again, here we have
Yeah, you have.
Notre-Dame. Yeah, we're sorry guys. There's a bit of, I'm not sure the image looked great because we have the sun a bit in our face. Maybe we should have done this in the morning, but you were all sleeping by then, so we would have felt quite lonely. But we see Notre-Dame.
Yeah, maybe-
the reconstruction work.
Yeah, maybe we can go on the side and see it a little bit after, because yeah, from here it's complicated, and yeah, better have a look on the other side. It's a Parisian tradition to get on the Quai de Seine and just to sit there, have a picnic. So yeah, the people are doing that, and probably some of them are drinking wine, even if it's not allowed, because they decided to yeah, they decided to to say to the population, okay, you can go outside, but don't drink too much. Yeah, because we want to celebrate. We want to drink some wine. Maybe we can just continue on the Quai des Fleurs. Allez. Guys, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. That would be great to have your impression. And also, if you want to see something in particular and you know it's over there, also tell us.
Yeah, but don't make us run all around the city. Yeah? We haven't exercised for a couple of months. So
Yeah, it's
there's only
true.
so much we can do. But yeah, it's true that the les quais, so the banks are always a very popular spot for chatting, a picnic, a drink or two. And so we are authorized to go there. It's a part of the new freedom that we have. But there was too many people who were having aperitif on Monday night, which was day one of freedom. So they have banned the alcohol consumption.
Yeah.
But we're still allowed to be there.
Yeah.
And we are there.
And we are here. Exactly. So now we just passed the bridge, so maybe you can see it just behind us. Okay, so we went from Island Saint Louis to Île de la Cité, so the city island, and so this is where Paris started. We have the chance to access here, even if Notre-Dame is completely under construction. So the park around the cathedral is no longer accessible, but the rest around we can go. So we will approach a little bit from Notre-Dame so you can see exactly how it looks now 1 year after the horrific fire. And yeah, there is this little something that we need to show them, no? The Héloïse and Abelard. Okay, let's go there.
Let's cross. I kind of forgot how to cross.
Yeah, we're not used to, I mean, with cars, we're no longer, for 2 months, we are just car free. Okay, let's go.
So we still remember that we should never cross on the crossroad because that's not what Parisians do. All right, let's.
So now we're arriving into one of my other favorite spots in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about love. Okay, so we are in front of a house. Yeah, can you see it well? Yeah, just a little bit upper, I think. Perfect. Okay, so this man is known to be Abelard, and he is a famous monk that lived here and met a beautiful young lady called Héloïse, and here she is. You can also see them on the doors, just right there. Well, it's just another version of them. So this is Abelard and you have Héloïse. So what happened here, you have to know that around Notre-Dame, you had for a long time the cloister. So you had a lot of monks living here and they couldn't see any woman. Of course, you was not allowed to have girlfriend when you're a monk, obviously.
They were confined.
Exactly, they were on lockdown like for so long. But Abelard was a very talented man, a very talented teacher. And at one point, he met his young student, Héloïse, because she was a woman, but let's say she had a great connection into the monk business. Her uncle, it's true, her uncle knew Abelard pretty well, and he said, I want my niece to have some education. My niece, you can also understand that it's probably not his niece, but maybe his daughter, just saying. But anyway, so when they met here, Héloïse was, 20 years less than him, something like that? Well, let's say she was pretty young. And she was just overwhelmed by the knowledge and the beauty of Abelard. So she fell in love instantly with him. And what happened next is they decided to marry in secret, actually just on the other side of the street, you have a little chapelle. So they decided to marry in secret. And of course, what happened? She get pregnant after the marriage and after the wedding, and of course, when everyone discovered the story, it was a big mess. And they decided that Abelard should stay here and get punished. So they decided to, how do you say?
You don't say it on YouTube live.
Okay, so let's say they did something. Yeah, they just cut something. Anyway. And she was sent very far.
That's the part you enjoy the most.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, it's very sad. No, it's a true story and it's a very sad story. And I love stories. So she was sent away very far in Normandy, Normandy or Brittany, Normandy. Yeah, just take my facts. And anyway, so she had the baby, and they wrote to each other millions of letters of love, but also about theology, about philosophy, about art, history. They were very intelligent, smart people. So the letters were very, very beautiful ones. And yeah, maybe we can just go down. Just to say that they were continuing writing to each other for so many years, and they never saw each other again. Never. They just, yeah, they were in love all their life and never saw each other. So that's a pretty sad story. It's like but anyway, when they died, we decided to put them together in the same grave. And they are in Cemetery Père Lachaise, which is great. Oh, you've seen their home, right? It's very Gothic, very impressive. Okay, can you see at the end of the street? Yeah, we can go a little bit upper. Do you want to go that way? Do you want to? Yeah, okay. Okay, we're getting to one of the scariest streets of the Cité.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, we really are in the medieval heart of the city, where you have this here, which was made for carriages.
Yeah, that's to reinforce,
not
right?
damage the wall. Yeah, it's metallic reinforcement. Even though, to be honest, the house we see is a very beautiful medieval looking house, but it was built in 1958.
Ah, okay.
But exactly as the medieval houses of Paris look like. And right now we are in the heart of the former cloister of Notre-Dame. This is named after the street here is named after the singers of the cloister, La Rue des Chantres. It's one of the narrowest streets of Paris. We're back to be.
What do you think they were singing? Like probably just like religious stuff?
Yeah, or the Beatles.
Do you think they were practicing with the echo? Should we practice here or something? I don't know. Well, maybe later. Okay, so
show you the street name.
Rue des Chantres, right? C'est like chanteur. Okay.
We don't. I mean, today we would say chanteur. Chantre is not a singer like a pop singer. It's really the monks that knew the lyrics, the rhythm, the notes, etc. So they were already quite educated.
Okay.
There's no one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's
this
crazy.
door, I love this door.
We are a minute away from Notre-Dame. I mean, obviously we are out of lockdown, so we don't have so much visitors to the city, but still.
Yeah.
Let us show you what's up. Sorry, I keep seeing my finger popping in and out.
Let's go. Let's go there.
The work. Maybe you can see that the beautiful stained glasses I showed you last week. They're no longer here. They took them out. Not that they were destroyed at all, but they got. I mean, they are all dirty with the black smoke, the fume. But none of the stained glass has been damaged, and you can see maybe there's a lot of construction going on.
Yeah, they're having this wooden structure to hold the flying buttresses, so those arches. But I assume that's actually how they made them, no? I mean, exactly. Originally, they were constructing them with that.
Right here, you have this wooden. It's almost like crouches, you can say, and it's to make sure that the flying buttress is not going to collapse in case the modern scaffolding we see up there, which is where it started, in case all of that collapse. So there's reinforcements, and the big crane up there is also to try to get rid of this burnt and melted metal, which is threatening the cathedral. So it's a little bit.
It's always sad to come here. Yeah, but we should continue.
We see progress. So it's.
And it's still here, so we have to be happy that we can still enjoy it, and we know that in few years, okay, maybe 10, but let's say few, we're gonna see it completely again with this roof and everything. Okay, so. Of course, around there's a little thing. Around Notre-Dame, you had a lot of restaurants and bars and sandwiches and things like that. So now it's pretty dead. So it's not really fun to come here because it's just
bring your own bottle if you visit.
Yeah, exactly. but it's very quiet. And in a way, I think as Parisian, it's the first time I can go around Notre-Dame and being so peaceful around here. So,
and not freezing. Because you could have that in the middle
of winter. Yeah, you're right.
winter.
Yeah, it's true. Like in December, it's
But
very
yeah,
crazy.
being in just in a t-shirt or a little shirt,
Yeah.
it's
Global
quite,
warming though. I mean, we're not supposed to be like that. But yeah. And maybe you can see more the goggles from here, can we? If it's not too bright.
we see that. Maybe you-
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah, you can see well the goggles. So they're very famous, of course, because they represent those monsters, the scary monster, supposedly scaring the devil away. You know that they are the guardians and they're protecting the building against the demons that are flying, of course, around Paris. Or at least they were thinking that in the Middle Ages. And they also the gutter system. Maybe you can see one with a hole in it. Anyway, it's not raining and has been since 3 weeks, maybe a month, with no rain in Paris. But
yeah, it was gorgeous weather through our windows.
yeah, it was great to see that. Yeah, from the windows, from the balconies.
I have here Linda, who's saying that it's a miracle that the stained glass survived. Yes, it is. Teresa, of course, you're here. Happy to see Notre Dame no matter what. We have Pearl, who's saying that she loves how peaceful it is.
It is very peaceful.
And Ben, who says bonjour from Île Saint Louis in Missouri. Oh,
I love
just around the
it.
corner. You should have joined us.
Yes.
Est-ce qu'on a conservé les lettres d'Héloïse and Abelard? Great French.
Yes, the letters of Héloïse and Abelard, they are translated also, so you can find them. They were, I think it was in Latin, if I'm right, at the time, because that was so the educated people were spoken in Latin together, not in French. French was for like, I don't know, the other people, exactly.
Us,
but when you were educated, it was Latin. So that's actually why the Latin Quarter, maybe some of you know about the Latin Quarter, that's how we name it, because people were speaking Latin. It was for the university.
Yeah, the language of the scholars and of the church.
So all the bright people, all the smart people, they were speaking Latin. Anyway, so those letters were translated in French, in English, in Spanish. You can find them all over the planet, I assume. So you just like type Héloïse and Abelard letters, and you will probably have, so it's not all the letters, but it's just like the best little medley, best ones.
Yeah,
should we continue? Maybe we should talk about the war a little bit, because this is important. We can talk about World War II and showing you the facade of Notre Dame before that.
Give you another glimpse at Notre Dame. Right here.
Yeah, this is the closest we can get from the facade.
It's pretty nice. They had done such an amazing job at renovating the facade. All the stones are so clean.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool to see it from here. Usually we look at it from a distance, but here, I mean, you don't see all the acrobacies I'm doing to give you this image. But it's you know, we are almost at the gate.
Yeah,
it's cool. We can be pretty close to it. They were supposed to reopen the Parvis, so the plaza before the cathedral, but the works have been delayed a little bit. But I think at the end of the summer, it's planned to reopen. And in the crib, which is right under the floor, so right under here, you know, it doesn't look so great.
No, it's not very beautiful.
But under it, there's an archaeological crypt, which will have a great exhibition on Notre Dame construction that should start in September.
Okay. That's awesome.
But Marie, you wanted to...
Yeah, just to talk a little bit about World War II, because here on Île de la Cité, that's where all the Germans had their quarter, you know, in the Préfecture de Police. We're going to have a look at that later. But here you have some sign. If you look around Notre Dame, you have some sign telling you that August 44. So maybe you remember this time of Libération, la Libération, the liberation. So that's the time at the end of the big lockdown. We can talk about that now. After 4 years of occupation by the Nazi, the Parisians decided to get into rebellion, like really getting the weapons and just fight for regaining the city. And so you have sometimes the names here. Ré Marcel, for example, he was gardien de la paix, which means a policeman. So he was one of the French policemen fighting against the Nazi soldier during this week of liberation. So that's written here. And we're going to see a bit later, you're going to see some holes, bullet holes that are from this time. And just to have a...
It's what we call the Battle of Paris. It started when the policemen who had access to guns and weapons shared it with the local resistance, and the Allied forces were not there yet. I mean, the landing in Normandy had started. I mean, had happened more than started, more than 2 months before. And so, from the 19th till the 25th of August, there were street fights in Paris. First with three, I mean, armed groups, whether it was the police or the resistance, and then they were joined by locals.
Oh yeah, there is another
And
sign
so
here, another plaque.
we have another one here. So it's really at the beginning of this battle for the liberation of Paris, which was the 19th of August.
Yeah, and so SS, that's the name we use also for the Nazi. Oh, you have the sign of General de Gaulle. So again, World War II here. We have one part of the speech by Le Général de Gaulle. This speech was made in June 40. Oh no, actually, this is that's the one. That's for the resistance, right? So he went to London to be safe, and he decided to make a big announcement on the radio, on the BBC for the French people. Just to say that even though the Paris was lost and at the end of the Nazis, this was not the end of the war, and they should fight and resist and do not despair. That was the idea. So de Gaulle was, of course, the leader of one part of the resistance. Was not the only one. You had also the communists at the time. But he, after the war, he became the president of France, and so we know him very well for that reason, also, of course. And here, we just passed it. We just passed the most important, or at least the oldest hospital of Paris, Hôtel Dieu. You see, so Dieu, that means God in French. And so that's the house of God, literally, Hôtel Dieu.
When he's vacationing in Paris, you mean?
Yeah, that's his villa. No, but that's just because before it was a religious place. Monks were coming here and trying to save whatever they could, really, of the poor people coming here with their plague or cholera or whatever disease they had, and so the name stayed. But now it's a proper hospital where people are safe normally when they are coming here, and
a very old Persian institution. I mean, it was started in the 600s, and it's still there. I mean, it moved from one part, one end of the square to the other one throughout the centuries. By, I mean, it's more than 13 centuries of having this hospital up and running.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so this hospital, Notre-Dame Cathedral, those are the two big buildings, really massive buildings that you have on this side of the island. In the middle, you will see the Préfecture de Police. So we are now walking and almost there. And after that, you also have La Conciergerie, Sainte-Chapelle. So we have a lot of things to see only on this island. So that's great. We're going to probably pass some time here. And if you want to see something, again, very specific on this island, please tell us on the comments. So maybe...
So about comments, we have a few...
bullets. Yeah.
We have Darren, who's asking if the restoration is actively underway. So...
Yeah, maybe we can go and have a look.
Actually, there's no work going on right now, but maybe you can see there, closer to the cathedral, we have this white tent right there, and this is where the workers can change, can wash their clothes, because the thing is, with the roof, which was made of lead, you remember from last week, there was quite a lot of pollution. So it's a very complex way to get onto the construction site and then work. So they stopped during the lockdown, but it's actually going to restart. And all this section between where we stand, which is as close as we can go, all the way to the construction site out there. This was supposed to reopen on the 15th for the first anniversary. So it will reopen. For now, it's a place where you can see flowers and cats. There are a few cats out there. I don't know if you can see them.
I don't know.
So they're fine and on their own. Which way?
I was thinking maybe the
We-
flower market, but
Yep. Oh,
just
great,
before that, we can have a look at the Préfecture de Police and the bullet holes that are just in front. Maybe very quickly, because I know they're not very big
You mean
fans of us.
bullet holes from the war?
Yeah, from the war, from the liberation. So it's hard from here, but okay, you see, oh yeah, you can see the man here. Okay, we're gonna go across. I think that's gonna be easiest. But
Be the best way.
so
And we have the green light.
just to remind us of what happened during the Libération de Paris, they kept the facade exactly as it was.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
very quickly, you're gonna see it. Very quickly, you can see all here, all of that are coming from this week of Libération de Paris. All the bullet holes here. Can you see them well? I hope you do. Okay, and now we're going to continue because still actively the police has headquarters of Paris. Here we go. Okay. So now we can see also a bit of the Hôtel Dieu over there. And we're going to walk back in the center of the island. I just love this island. I mean, we're about to see flowers, so I'm excited now. So. So we choose here. Okay.
Here. Tac.
Here we go.
Voilà.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's why.
I don't know. You were talking about us when you said we were going to see flowers.
Not yet. But yeah. So there's not a lot of people actually living on Île de la Cité. It's mostly for tourism and the big
And administration.
important buildings like that. But you won't live here. I mean, I don't know. I won't. There's not a lot of bakeries.
Unless you eat flowers only, but otherwise.
Yeah. So it's probably closed now, but just love it. And I think it was renamed after the Queen Elizabeth from England. No, it's now the Queen Elizabeth Flower Market. So okay, let's have a look now. So here, that's my finger now. Perfect.
Voilà.
Great. Love it. Okay, so
Yeah,
this
it's not.
it's not closed.
It's not entirely closed.
Oh, that would be great if we can see some plants. So this is where most of
Your
the
garden, Marie.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. On my tiny window, I'm trying to do my best. But here we are in the flower market. That's one of my favorite. I say that all the time, I know, but this is one of my favorite places as well. So lovely. So nice.
We have Maria Trenzado who's saying she'd love the flower market.
Yeah.
Where are you guys locked down or not locked down, by the way? Let's see a little bit where we have Tony who says she's watching from California. Good morning, California. It's almost the end of the day for us, but you're just waking up. Where else are you guys from?
Look at that. I just missed that because during the lockdown it's only buildings like gray walls. I wanted to see some nature, so here we are in the best place for that. We can also have a look at those fountains. Quite interesting. Oh, look at how beautiful.
Also, yeah. We entered the lockdown. It was cold, almost snowy, and here we are, almost summertime now.
Okay, so those are
So we
pretty
have
interesting.
Southern California. We have Stephanie from Chicago. Mario is in Florida.
Awesome. Okay, so I don't know if you ever saw that before in your life. So those are called Wallace fountains, and you can see so water is running through them. It's good water. You can drink it. Those are coming from 1872. Is that right? That was just after the Prussian War, and at the time we had trouble having clear water. And
because they destroyed the aqueducts.
so that was a big problem. Indeed. Yeah, maybe we can go of the way there. And and so it's an Englishman named Wallace that decided to offer hundreds of fountains in Paris, and so they're really beautiful, the green and Just yeah, very lovely, very decorated. Oh,
Yeah, they're very
I think
iconic for
that's
the.
my favorite
the
shop.
it smells great. Is it the
Oh.
lavender or?
I'm feeling like a little bee here. It's so beautiful. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, you can go right. And I love the fact that we are in the middle of Paris, where everything is very important, very serious, and still we have this flower market. But I heard that they were thinking of maybe taking that down. So let's enjoy it as much as we can, because maybe in a few years it's not going to be there. Shall we have a look at the Tour Saint-Jacques?
Ouais.
And also Hôtel de Ville, because each side of this island has beautiful views, and I think this is one of my favorites here, the Tour Saint-Jacques.
Wow, the riverbank are popular, aren't they?
Wow. I heard this bridge was originally 5 pillars, and they just like took down 3 because it was so difficult to navigate here, so many accidents, that they had to change the middle. You see how it's different from here on the side, and in the middle it's metal. So yeah, it's great to navigate. So at the here you can see Hôtel de Ville, that's the city hall of Paris, and in front over there you have Tour Saint-Jacques, which is a tower that was part of a church. The church burned during the revolution, is that right? Or maybe even before that. But anyway, we kept the Tower Saint-Jacques. It was a great place to observe from the top and to have a beautiful view on Paris. So, and just on the side of it, on the left, that's Place du Châtelet, and that's known for the musicals. It's like our Broadway. It's our Paris Broadway. But are you a fan of musicals?
I've not so much. I think you know a little bit better about it.
Oops, sorry.
What did I see? Singing in the Rain, because we start to have more and more musicals in English. So I saw Singing in the Rain in the Châtelet, which was maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
3, something like that.
Is there one French musical that we know of?
Of course, Notre-Dame.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You guys ever heard about Notre-Dame de Paris, a French musical from when we were kids?
But I think it was like half French, half Canadian, wasn't it? Like Quebecois.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. Anyway. Okay.
But in French language. I know you can sing it pretty well. I've heard you sing it.
That's for another time. That's for another video.
All right. So where are you taking us now, Marie?
Okay. So now we just on the right side of because right bank and left bank. Actually, we should have started with that. The Seine River. The Seine River is so important for us that everything in Paris is connected to it. For example, the right bank, the left bank. We define Paris in those 2 parts. We don't say north and south. We really define it with the Seine River being our limit. Also, the numbers in the streets, they're all starting when they are close to the Seine and going away from it. So it's from 1 to whatever. And what more? I mean, so many things are related to the Seine River, but just that, Paris is defining itself being an island and with a river around. But now we are arriving at one of the most important buildings, right?
Is it your favorite?
For the king, no, but for the king, no, there is, it's a prison. What are you talking about? Okay, sorry. Trouble to switch it from the other side. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so can you see the beautiful clock? It's all goldy. Do you think it's real gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Gold leaf.
Okay, we should go up there and, and check that.
And scratch it a little bit.
Scratch it a little bit. Okay, so I heard or not, or maybe not. So I heard, for a long time the people could access the let's say they knew what time it was because of the sun, right? But this was the very first clock. They could go at night as well and know the hour. So that was pretty impressive for them because they could see the time, 24 hours, let's say. And this one was offered by the King Henri IV, or no, maybe Henry II?
It's even before. It's Charles V.
Oh, okay.
Charles V, who was a king who tried to make the power of the state stronger than the power of the church.
Mm-hmm.
And until then, people could know what time it was thanks to the bells ringing. So Charles V is at the origin of this clock, but many kings afterwards have added their mark to it.
Okay.
So we have in the upper part up there, we have the monograms of Henry II and Catherine of Medici, or also of Henry IV and Queen Marguerite or Queen Margot, or even the sigil also of Henry III. But it's much older than that. Yeah, it's from the mid 1300s.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's on a tower called the Tower of l'Horloge, La Tour de l'Horloge. And maybe after we're going to see some other towers. You will see it's part of a whole building called the Palais de Justice now. But for a long time it was the King Palace before the Louvre was made. And we're going to see where Marie Antoinette was in prison, poor she. And maybe some, you know about it? Conciergerie. So.
Maybe let's do a quick survey. Are you guys
familiar?
Fans of Marie Antoinette, or what do you think? Let's see if we have more
royalist cake or
royalist not. or anti-royalist here.
Yeah.
We have Gary Levesque. Are you my friend? Who's saying that he's watching from Livermore, California. Samantha says she misses Paris from Texas. And what about Les Trois Mousquetaires and Robin des Bois as a musical?
Ah,
that's true.
Yeah, I don't think I know that one.
I said it at first. I'm not the your musical guy. I'm the history nerd. Sorry about that. Wow.
I think that the only thing we can really see from the Conciergerie from outside, which is a pity because it's a really beautiful building inside. It's kind of scary also because it's still you can still jail. So it's I don't know. Do you like the place?
The Conciergerie. It's
how do you describe the Conciergerie inside? To me, it's scary. But...
Well, first, the building is the grandest Gothic building that is not a church that we still have in Paris, and it became a prison. But at first, it was a royal palace, so it's actually quite interesting to see how a building can change from being a palace to being not so much of a palace. And I think they've done a pretty good job with the exhibition they have on the French Revolution, explaining what were the changes, what were all these changes of justice, the beginning of the guillotine, was there a terror, or and they try to go behind the cliches. So it's a place I like quite much. And what is quite amazing is that this old royal palace today is where the French Republic has his justice palace. I mean, in English you would call it a courthouse, but in French we still call it a palace. And in this royal palace was built between 1242 and 48, so only in 6 years, the gorgeous Sainte-Chapelle, which is the ultimate stained glass place to be visited anywhere. For anyone who's not been in a Sainte-Chapelle, words cannot describe it. Sorry guys, there's a bit of traffic. Let's hope you can still hear us fine, despite there are a lot of buses because the public transportation has restarted quite well. And yeah, places like this where you have 14, 15, 1600 years of history, it's quite humbling. Maybe we realize that 2 months of confinement are not so long afterwards. I mean, it was long, but we'll see what we get from it.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so yeah, let's drop the prison, the torture.
Where are we going now?
Unless we want to talk about the Prison de Châtelet. Okay, look, Châtelet. So we were talking about the musicals, but before
this is 1 meter.
Yeah, we should wear masks, but we decided that we're going to be together into that. Anyway, so the Châtelet is known for now to be also one of the biggest metro station, the subway. It's kind of a maze because you have 8 lines or something like that crossing. It's such a mess that whenever, especially as Parisian, whenever you have to change at Châtelet, You don't. You're trying everything to avoid the changing at Châtelet.
Just walk.
Just yeah. You just exit, take another one. I mean, it's really a big mess. Anyway, before that, long time before that, it used to be the most horrific prison of Paris.
You do like prisons, Marie.
I don't know. It's just the neighborhood is making me like. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, we're going to talk about torture after. Anyway,
Torture?
torture. Yeah, there's this tower that is called Bombec, and apparently that's where they were torturing prisoners and make them drink like liters of like
What?
no water, but water
Oh.
from the Seine. You know, like not clear water, like really just like this stinky, gloomy kind of.
You
water.
guys have heard it well, because for some of you it's early morning, but you've heard it well. The French torture is to make you drink water by the liter. Oh my God! How could they do that?
Yeah, they
now
were
we have
saying-
human rights, right?
Okay, maybe yeah, we're gonna see.
Yeah, let's stop
Let's-
saying
let's-
shitty things.
Let's see the towers here. This tower and maybe the other one. We can go on the other side without being run over. Okay, that's good. So this, when you see this building from the other side of the Seine, it really looks like a medieval castle. It's you can feel like maybe a princess is there into the dungeon. A dragon also is guarding the door. I mean, it's really like a fantasy castle. When I was a kid, it was all black. You remember that?
Yeah,
And they just renovated it, so it looks nice now. But for a long time, it was the scariest place for me because it looks totally like coming from Middle Ages.
Villain castle, you know, at the end of the.
Yeah, and you know it's a prison. You know, people were locked here for a very long time in what we call oubliettes in French, and that's basically a cell where you have no food, nothing. You just have the water coming and the rats.
That's
so-
nice.
Oh yeah, to make you take you company.
That's
So-
better than drinking water, I guess.
So those two towers, one is called the Tour César and the other the Tour d'Argent for the money, because they were keeping here the treasure of the king in a very safe tower, as you can imagine. And the torture tower is coming just after that, la Tour Bombec. So Bombec is for what? For the fact that they were like
hitting on their mouths.
eating on the mouth? Yeah. Okay.
No, it's you're tortured.
Yeah.
To
So you
them.
have to say something. Yeah. So you can
Open your beak.
you confess everything, anything you're asked for. So yeah, so the oubliettes, I think you had another way of torturing people, but yeah, maybe we should do another video about that, like all the dark stories, and I love that. But anyway, so yeah, you can see well the Tour Saint-Jacques from here. So that's the St. James Tower. It's also the start of a pilgrimage that is known called Chemin de Compostelle. So you go from France to Spain to see the tomb of St. James, that is buried in Spain by the border of the sea. And yeah, so that's Châtelet. You can see all here. So this was open maybe 3-4 years ago. I don't even remember. When did they?
If some of you visited Paris, a while ago, this where we see people walking or just sitting, that used to be kind of a central highway crossing Paris. And I mean, back in the old days, of course, they were the banks of the river to load and download the ships, etc. But then in the 70s, they turned it into a highway, so it was not for pedestrian at all.
Yeah.
And then they started doing making it for pedestrian only in the summer. That was known as Paris Plage. Then it's been 3 years, I think. That the Paris Plage is permanent. It's all no more cars by the riverside.
You can see from here also the Samaritaine and the Pont Neuf. So we're gonna go there and see the oldest bridge of Paris. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and actually the Samaritaine, you see the scaffoldings are out. It closed in 2005. It was a very, very famous department store. And it is now redesigned to be a 5-star hotel. There will be also kindergartens. There will be some shops, and so they were supposed to reopen this year. I don't know if
I think
will be postponed a little bit.
maybe because it was supposedly to be an hotel, I think now. So yeah, we'll see how it's.
One of the most luxurious hotel in Paris. I mean, you can imagine the views, right? Even if, to be honest, you have the views from the street, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna see the back of Palais de Justice, which is a beautiful piece of architecture. unfortunately, no one really see it because it's at the back, and yeah, there's not a lot of people coming here. So, but it's absolutely different also from the rest. It's from Napoleon, our dearest Napoleon. You can see him here also. Can I have a look at? Can you see his face? Maybe, yeah, it's blurry. It's blurry. Nah.
Up there,
Yeah.
you have Napoleon's
Yeah.
face, the N.
The eagle also is a symbol of, you can see some, yeah, the statue over there.
Imperial eagle. So early 1800s for that section of the Palais de Justice, while the rest we've shown you was from the 1300s. In the Sainte-Chapelle, 1200s.
Yeah.
So that is something quite common in Paris, is that one building is not from a specific time. It's usually combined, because all over history and centuries we added more and more. And here we are. We are getting to one of the cutest plaza of Paris.
Yeah, it's a bit better because it's very bright now.
You mentioned it before. The name of it?
Place Dauphine. So Place Dauphine is really at the point of the Île de la Cité, and this is probably the only part of the city that is so alive. People are living here. You have some shops, and also, the favorite sport of French people. I don't know if you, after the football, after the soccer, is over there. We can maybe have a look. It's called les boules or pétanque or bocce balls. That's how you say. And it's usually the best way to play pétanque is when you're drinking a beer or rosé, right? I mean, that's what we do. I mean, look at that. No, I mean, look at that. They usually have a beer. So here we can maybe approach them. That's the best way to play.
You want to make friends? You miss seeing people, Marie?
Yes, I know we cannot French, but yeah. So the bocce ball, and this, I think Johnny Depp had a house here. Every time I'm coming here, I'm just hoping to see him.
For sure, he had a glass.
But you're here, so that's something.
Are you comparing me to Johnny Depp?
Of course.
All right, guys. So literally, there's been 2 months of seeing no one, because that would never happen before.
Yeah. So Place Dauphine, it's also known for Dauphine. Why it's named like that is just because when you're the first son of the king, you will be named Dauphin, like the dolphin. And so this place was named after Louis XIII. Because he was the son of Henri IV that we're about to see on his horse. Is the king who decided to build the Pont Neuf, the first bridge made of stone in Paris. And at the time, it was something pretty strange for the Parisian, because for a long time the bridges were made of wood, mostly of wood, and houses were also on the bridges. That was actually paying for the costs of building the bridge. That I saw that. That was the houses, all the rent from the houses that were paying for the builder. And
what a gorgeous day we have.
Yeah, it's really excellent. So like it's
light, I don't know if the light shows well on your screen, guys, but it is quite amazing to have just a little bit of clouds to make the sky not just of, it's like a big blue shirt, but it's a gorgeous day. Sorry, Marie, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I totally agree. It's perfect. The wind is just making it very easy. It's perfect. So we are almost at the end of Île de la Cité, and you can see the Pont Neuf from a bit closer. Which is original with the Pont Neuf is those. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the. Here, the benches, can you see them? Yeah, so you see people are sitting. It's very romantic, so I don't want to interrupt anything here, but I want to show that. And yeah, in the Pont Neuf, you can see some mascarons, so some scary faces. There are, I don't know if you can see some, of it there, yes. Some scary faces of demons, I will say, or God. What do you think? Are they like mythological gods from the Roman time, or are they a mix of different things? Like those ones, for example. Like this, for example. also.
It's highly influenced by the Italian Renaissance. I guess we have one of our guides, Francesca, who's Italian. She could help us out here. But the mascaron, it's ornamental. I'm not sure they have a religious value or a superstitious
So it's
value
just
anymore.
decorating.
But it's finding, I mean, decoration as they had or as they believe that it existed back in the old Roman times.
Oh, we can see the fireman boat from here. And some beautiful, but yeah, and Henry IV. Should we approach Henry IV?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
You like him, right? It's from your region, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Henry IV was not really your ultimate candidate to be king of France. He was part of the enemy at the time because he was from a Protestant family, but he was a distant cousin of the king. And eventually, when the king died, without any heir, he was the next in line. So he had to fight his way to get his crown. There's a famous quote by Henry IV because he was told, you have to know that people in Paris are really, really Catholic. So don't think you can be entering Paris as a Protestant king. And he may have said, Paris is worse a mass. So just say, all right, if they want me to be Catholic, let's be Catholic.
So he just changed his religion like that.
Yeah, but he swapped religion 3-4 times.
Okay.
But it was more into love of the next mistress.
Oh yeah, is that why the park is called Vert Galant? Because galant is from galanterie, no? Something like being flirty or something.
Yeah, the garden we're going to show you, which is really at the water level, is named after the nickname of that king, Le Vert Galant, which how to say, I don't know if we have kids watching, so I'll try to find out.
It was flirty.
It's just it's when an old man is still flirting with not the same age girls. How about that?
Yeah, we can say that. That's good. Yeah, let's have a look at the boats because the Seine River is all about the boats. Now, the boats are mostly for tourists, but for a long time they were carrying stuff like sand or any merchandise, spices,
food, wine.
You can see well the Pont Neuf from here. That's a great view. Yeah, so like I say, it was the first bridge made of stone. People were scared of this place. They were not crossing it. So that's why we have the statue of Henry IV on his horse, because that's exactly what it is, to convince the Persian that it was safe to cross through. He went here with his horse and just as an example, just went on the top of this bridge and nothing happened. And so after that, all the French say, okay, now we can do it. If the king can do it, we can. And we have some péniches. So those flat boats, I don't know if it's very clear with the sun. And yeah, and the firemen, but we can't see them. But there is a special section of firemen where they are training on boats, and especially if people is, I don't know, jumping because they drank too much, maybe, and the firemen will come and save them. So that's pretty cool. And that's the end of the
What about we try to find a spot where we can stop?
Yeah, with the Louvre,
answer
maybe,
a few questions.
Sure.
And get to show you a little bit more, share a bit of Paris, and then say bye. It's almost 8.
Yeah.
I'm starting to be hungry.
It was so quick. So we hope you enjoyed your tour of the island.
We have a few questions.
With pleasure.
We have Teresa, who says she didn't know that Henry IV was a dirty old man. Well, what else was he in reality?
That's him. That's our Henry.
That's about all there is to know about him, and the fact that he ate garlic every morning.
And snails. Did you know that? Yeah. Okay, Henry IV, apparently, the legend says that Henry IV is the first one to appreciate snails with butter and garlic. And so the tradition of eating snails in France is coming from this guy. So, yeah.
We have Notre-Dame, maybe we know, Notre-Dame lady who's asking if there's any bateau mouche.
They're not working anymore, but maybe we can see one. Okay, that's me. Switch again. Yeah, we can see here. It's a company called les vedettes du Pont Neuf, and so they're waiting for
you guys.
a better day. Yeah. And yeah, we have a beautiful view on the Louvre and on the Love Bridge also that is no longer for Love Locks. Beautiful, the sun almost setting here.
What else do we have? We have Kim. How are you, Kim? She's saying that she bought a French Scrabble. Play Scrabble in French. Good, but don't play too much because I'm going to be too difficult to defeat for me.
You can sit and enjoy the
We have
the end of the day.
Darren is saying that he's having French crepe for lunch.
Ah, awesome. Have you watched the video about the crepe? That's why, because we made a video just about the crepe. It's Lola making them.
Lola, our foodie expert, she filmed herself during the lockdown and making the best crepe I've ever had. So really, you should go see that. You'll see also on our channel we have, all the other previous live tours are available.
Yes.
So we have your quiche making.
My quiche of
workshop.
course, very important. But also Notre-Dame, made by Bertrand, amazing. You have also Versailles. You're going to do another one on Versailles, the gardens? Is that something?
Yep. We're going to do the gardens of Versailles. We're not sure yet if it will be a presentation with still images or if we will be able to do it from there, which would be quite cool. But
you're doing Montmartre also next week?
Exactly.
So that's going to be fun.
Next week with our guide Laure, who is an art expert. 1800, we are going to stroll the streets of Montmartre and talk about the artists who live there, the painters, etc.
Okay.
So it will be same time, Saturday. It's May 23rd already.
Yeah. We just lost like 2 months. So,
but, so almost end of May in Montmartre, which is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And we hope we will see you there. If you will see, we'll post online a link where you can subscribe, so we can send you the URL so you can watch it live. But if you miss it, then we have replays.
Yes.
Also, if you're interested in having your own private tour, where it's just for you, I've had a few this week. It was cute. Yeah, I did one on Marie Antoinette.
Okay.
For a French class of, they were 9 years old.
And so were they pro Marie Antoinette? Or?
Yeah, they loved her. They were only girls learning French.
Yeah, that's why.
From Dallas.
Because we love the dresses.
and they had so many questions about the guillotine.
Oh yeah, the guillotine is fascinating. We have one still in the Musée de la Police. If you're coming in Paris, you can see a real guillotine. Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun to see. They're 9 years old. They love prince and princesses, and the one question is, did she die before losing her head or during?
Oh no!
Very technical, very intelligent question. So that was really fun. So if you want to have your
your own private tour with us, just talking like that. Directly, and it'll be fun.
It's also a great way to help us still do the job we love.
Yeah, we love guiding, so please make us talk and say things.
It's the moment we try to make you cry because we're mentioning the tip link that is right under the video.
Of course.
But yeah, it's true that it helps us.
Definitely. Thank you so much for watching. We had fun tonight, and we're gonna keep having fun with you as long as you're here watching us. So a little
bye bye from
with the Seine, and come back next week and the weeks after that. Ciao, guys.
Bye.
Bye.